Well, good morning, everyone. It's an absolute pleasure to have everyone here in the most amazing riding in the province of Spruce Grove and Stony Plain. And I'm pleased to welcome so many of you here to Whispering Waters Manor, and I would like to thank Meridian Housing Foundation for their willingness to host us here today. I would like to begin by recognizing that we have our Alberta Minister of Seniors, Community and Social Services here with us in person, and Federal Minister of Tourism and Associate Minister of Finance, Randy Boissonnault, joining us virtually from Ottawa to represent the Government of Canada. I'd also like to welcome Mayor Jeff Acker from Spruce Grove, as well as Mayor William Choi from the town of Stony Plain, as well as councillors from both communities that were able to join us here today. And of course, we are joined by Lori-Ann St. Arnaud, Executive Director of Meridian Housing Foundation, and Arlene Adamson, President of the Alberta Seniors and Community Housing Association. So thank you all for being here today. I can't say how important today's announcement is to our area. I had the opportunity to speak with Minister Nixon very soon after he was appointed as the new minister responsible for housing, and have told him over and over again about the need for more seniors housing here in our area. As one of our largest housing providers, Meridian Housing Foundation has also been working hard to provide more housing for seniors. And that is why I was so excited when Alberta's government launched their Affordable Housing Partnership Program back in December of 2022, which is a unique program that partners with nonprofits, municipal governments, and other housing providers to build affordable housing that meets the needs of the community. You can only imagine how excited I was to find out that Meridian Housing Foundation had recently sent a letter informing them that they have been approved to receive $14.7 million from the Affordable Housing Partnership Program to put towards a new seniors lodge right in Spruce Grove. And I know how important this is and how it will serve our community for many decades to come. So again, thank you all for being here. And at this point, I'd like to now introduce Federal Minister of Tourism and Associate Minister of Finance, Randy Boissonnault. Thank you.
Well, thanks very much, Cyril. Thank you, MLA Turton, for doing that for us. And hello, everybody. It's nice to see you all. I'm coming to you from Ottawa today, and I want to acknowledge that we are on the unceded traditional territory of the Algonquin Anishinaabe Nation. And I want to give a shout out to Minister Nixon, to Arlene Adamson, and to Lori-Ann St. Arnaud. Look, everyone here has demonstrated their leadership in getting to today and in providing Albertans with the affordable and safe housing that they deserve. And that's why today's announcement is so important. So let's get straight to it. We are investing more than $27 million through the National Housing Strategy 10-year bilateral funding agreement between the governments of Canada and Alberta to create and renovate homes for women and children, seniors, newcomers, families, and those who need it the most. Nous investissons plus de 27 millions de dollars dans le cadre de l'entente bilatérale de financement de 10 ans conclue entre les gouvernements du Canada et de l'Alberta dans la stratégie nationale sur le logement. At a time when so many Canadians are struggling with the cost of living, it is essential that all orders of government work together to ensure that everybody has a safe and affordable place to call home. And for our communities to thrive, we need to make sure that residents have access to a house that is affordable, where they feel safe and supported, and where they can build a successful future for themselves and their families. And through these collaborative efforts, we can ensure that parents are able to raise their children without worrying about where they will spend their next night. We can ensure that gender diverse people, as well as women and children fleeing domestic violence, have the resources they need to be safe and live prosperously. Workers will be able to go home at the end of the day and not be faced with the impossible choice between paying rent and putting food on the table. Through our bilateral funding agreements with provincial governments and territories, our government is investing in a better and more prosperous Canada. So congratulations to everybody who worked so hard to make this happen. Your efforts are going to make a big difference in the lives of many Albertans. Thank you. Merci. Hi.
Thank you, Minister Boissonnault, and great to see you. Minister Boissonnault and I had the opportunity to meet actually just the other day and talk about aligning provincial and federal housing strategies and working together collaboratively to be able to advocate for Albertans when it comes to ensuring there's great access to affordable housing and supportive programs for individuals that require those supports. So again, thank you, Minister, for your contribution and your advocacy for Albertans. And I'm very happy to be here in the constituency of Spruce Grove, Stony Plain. Of course, I continuously hear about how wonderful Spruce Grove, Stony Plain is by your absolutely amazing local MLA, MLA Turton, who I can tell you has been a relentless advocate and a voice for your community over the years, and complete pleasure to work with, as he has a huge heart and for not just Spruce Grove, Stony Plain, but for Alberta. So thank you, MLA Turton. I would also like to thank Arlene Adamson, for the president of the Alberta Seniors Community Housing Association, for making the trip up here to be here today, and the partnership that we've been able to create already just in my short 6 months as minister, and for your constant advocacy as well for affordable housing and for our seniors. As well as to be able to thank Lori-Ann, Executive Director of Meridian Housing Foundation, for hosting us here today, and for your tireless work as well, for making sure that our seniors have a great place to spend their golden years that's supportive and in the communities in which they raise their families in and built their lives. So thank you, Lori-Ann, for hosting us here at Whispering Waters Manor, and it's a beautiful facility. Thanks for having us. So, as many of you know, affordable housing has been a primary focus of this government, as we have not only been announcing funding, but we've been also getting shovels in the ground, getting housing built so that people can get that key and walk through their front door sooner than later. When our government was elected back in 2019, we were handed an affordable housing system that hadn't been structurally updated for over 20 years. It was clear that the system was not working for Albertans, as we watched the wait list for housing grow by about 76% since under the previous government. And that's why we laid out a plan to increase the number of households supported in Alberta with affordable housing. That plan, called the Stronger Foundations, has been a huge success. And it's been a huge success because of the partnerships that it has created and the partnerships that it relies on. Partnering with other layers of government, as we see here today, Indigenous organizations and communities, not-for-profits, municipalities, and so many others that are committed to making sure that Albertans that require it have affordable housing and a safe, accessible place to be able to call home. Since the implementation of that plan, we've actually seen the wait lists begin to decline for affordable housing in Alberta. And I think that speaks to, again, the success of those partnerships, but also the focus of all of us on addressing this challenge in our community. Earlier this week, I had the opportunity to be able to sit down and chat with Mayor Sohi in Edmonton and on the need for more affordable housing in Edmonton. It was a great conversation, and I think that today's announcement is a great follow-up to that meeting, as we announce more affordable housing in Edmonton as well as the areas surrounding Edmonton and across this province. I think it's important to talk about the strategy too, as I've been walking or touring across the province, meeting in big communities like Edmonton and Calgary, smaller communities like Spruce Grove, Stony Plain, and the one thing that continuously gets expressed to me is the absolute importance of making sure that seniors, those with disabilities, those who are vulnerable in our community, can live and build a life for them in their home communities, and how critical that is. And I think you see that today in this announcement as we continue to invest in communities that are outside of those cities. Not only is that better for people, again, to be able to live your life in the place that you call home, but it also helps alleviate some of that burden on the big city centers in Calgary and Edmonton. And so that'll continue to be part of our strategy. As many of you will know, I spent many years of my life working in the not-for-profit sector, specifically managing homeless shelters and working with people experiencing homelessness in our community. We were able to help so many individuals to be able to find a path as we wrap supports around them to address, challenges of mental health, addiction, and help them with their recovery, with employment, as well as with housing. For individuals facing homelessness, affordable housing is, of course, one very large piece of the puzzle that contributes to a recovery-oriented system of care. That's why I think it's so amazing that our Premier, Danielle Smith, put the responsibility of housing together with homelessness to make sure that we have capital dollars aligning with our operating dollars so that we can make sure that there's supports that wrap around individuals who have experienced homelessness as they go on to live a new beginning in those housing programs. I can remember the excitement that day when an individual we'd been working with got the key for their first apartment, and as they moved in, that sense of pride that just radiated from them as they unlocked that door for the first time and walked into their new home. As these individuals would open their front door for the first time, they would just feel that sense of pride and purpose, and it was just one of the most exciting things you could imagine. However, affordable housing does not only benefit those who are experiencing homelessness, and of course an investment in affordable housing will help people never have to experience homelessness in our community. In fact, we have recently funded affordable housing designated for women and families fleeing domestic violence, senior lodges such as those provided through Meridian Housing Foundation, where we are here today, those living with disabilities, low-income families, and so many more will feel the impact of this investment. Our commitment to affordable housing is benefiting many families and individuals currently in need of support, and today's announcement will help address the demand that we are seeing in our community, a growing demand in our community. In December, I had the pleasure of announcing the launch of the Affordable Housing Partnership Program to fund innovative, sustainable housing options across this province. With today's announcement, for recipients of that funding, we are proud to be investing $54 million into 17 projects across this province that will increase the number of affordable housing spaces by over 600 units. This includes projects in the Edmonton area with a total of more than $23 million worth of funding, and projects in the Calgary area of $26 million, and a number of other communities across this province. I am confident that more units being available will make a big difference for Albertans. Today's announcement includes an incredible project, soon to be not far from here, Spruce Grove, and I think we've already heard about it, but it's just so exciting that I think it's worth talking about twice. This project has been made possible because of the hard work and relentless advocacy of your local MLA Turton. $14.7 million being provided to Meridian Housing Foundation, which will help with the building of this new lodge that will benefit seniors in this area, that will help seniors in this area to be able to stay in the community that they built their lives and raised their families in. I know the people of Spruce Grove, Stony Plain are pretty excited, as we just saw, to see this project happening. And again, thank you, MLA Turton, for all of your hard work. With $54 million being announced here today through the Affordability Housing Partnership Program, we are building the future of our province. While we know housing is not built overnight, this funding will ensure that projects can begin so that we can open doors, help Albertans open their own doors in the very near future. We are also proud to be investing over $1 billion over the next 3 years to continue to see investment in projects like this and many more across this province so that more Albertans will have a place to call home. So again, I'm so proud of this government and our ongoing commitment to address affordable housing. I'm also so proud to be in a province where we can create such amazing partnerships across government lines with our not-for-profit partners and so many others in our community to make sure that people have a place to call home. And with that, I would like to introduce Arlene Adamson, President of the Alberta Seniors Community Housing Association. Ms. Adamson.
Good morning, everyone. It's great to be here in the Meridian community and to see our residents enjoying a wonderful community and to have great leadership in our governments. Thank you, Minister Nixon, and to MLA Turton. The work locally is tremendous, and on a federal level, thank you, Minister Boissonnault, for the tri-party support to this initiative. The Alberta list of investments is long, and it's an exciting day for Alberta. Speaking on behalf of Silvera for Seniors, we're located in Calgary, and on behalf of the housing sector, I can't express how important today's announcement is to address the need for increasing affordable housing across our province in all of our communities. Housing costs are the single largest cost of monthly expenses for Albertans. And costs on the rise, the rising cost of living, it is important that we make sure affordable housing is available to all Albertans so that they're not one paycheck or one rent check away from a housing crisis. Today's commitment from the Alberta government is a huge step in the right direction. Thank you, Minister Nixon, to you and your department staff, your leadership in moving forward the Affordable Housing Partnership Program and today's announcement. Let's also recognize the significant work behind the scenes that it takes to advance this work by your team, by the sector of the not-for-profit and other organizations. And remember, it's only just 2.5 years later that we've been dealing with a pandemic. So this is an enormous milestone for our province. Because of your funding and the commitment, Silvera will be able to add 12 additional units to our current Livingston Terrace apartment project, which is underway right away. So we're excited that this is not a long-term, we're turning ground and moving that project quickly. And this is in addition to the existing plan that we already had in place. So great work has been happening on a local and on all levels of government. Thank you to the commitment of all orders of government. We will be able to provide 47 units of safe, affordable housing for seniors in Calgary, and with plans for future additions. And we look forward to working with all levels of government to see that come to fruition as well. While today's announcement is the first announcement, it's a critical step. And it's in the right direction, demonstrating our Alberta government's Affordable Housing Partnership Program working, and it brings all orders of government together to ensure investments have an impact in communities across our province. It's critical. Thank you to our provincial government, to our federal government, and to our municipalities and the leadership locally for the collective partnership work to advance affordable housing for Albertans. Let's celebrate today, but let's also recognize it's just the beginning of a journey, and more investments will come to increase affordable housing options for Albertans. On behalf of Alberta Today, residents living in many of these communities that have a home, have a key to their front door, and to the future residents that we will welcome into all of our communities across Alberta, thank you for allowing us to give them and to ensure that they have safe and affordable housing. Let me introduce now my colleague, Lauriane St. Arnaud, ED of this wonderful community, Meridian Housing Foundation. Thank you for your leadership here locally. Laurie.
Good morning to you all, and welcome to the Meridian Housing Foundation. It's heartwarming to see the great attendance and feel the positive energies in our lodge. Thank you, Minister Nixon, Minister Boissonnault, MLA Turton, and Arlene for your kind words and your continuous dedication and support for housing. On behalf of the Foundation, a huge thank you is extended to the Government of Alberta for the exciting news of funding support today. This investment demonstrates the importance of access to affordable housing for all our seniors. Many people have been involved in making this happen, and I express my thanks to you all. More specifically, I want to acknowledge our local MLA, Cyril Turton, a true community supporter, for all his assistance and advocacy. To our mayors and council in our 3 municipalities, Spruce Grove, Stony Plain, and Parkland County, your support and partnership was an important key factor. It is your funding commitment that set the initial investment for Meridian Housing Foundation. The success of the foundation is as a result of strong leadership from our board of directors, and I want to say thank you to each of you, and thank you to our dedicated staff providing services and programs to the seniors we house. Today is a big win for the City of Spruce Grove, the tri-municipal region, and the foundation. After 60-plus years, Meridian Housing Foundation will finally have an actual physical presence in the Spruce Grove community. And that makes me smile, thinking of all the seniors who will benefit and who we will house. This is a dream come true, and I stand humbled just before you, thinking of all the lives that will be touched. In the past 20 years, the City of Spruce Grove has grown exponentially and is now the 12th largest population in Alberta, and still growing. Always operating at full occupancy, the new lodge will reduce the pressures felt by the growing housing demand and address Meridian Housing Foundation's ongoing wait lists. We are delighted to bring Spruce Grove Lodge to life and fill the housing gap that exists. Established as a housing management body under ministerial order, or by the ministerial order under the Alberta Housing Act, Meridian Housing Foundation is the only public nonprofit lodge provider in the tri-municipal region offering seniors subsidized rates. This news will allow us to continue to provide a home of choice to low to moderate income seniors. Seniors who make up 13% of the population in Spruce Grove are increasing at an even faster rate. Yet, they have been left without affordable options in their community. This announcement raises hopes and has positive impacts for seniors as well as families and friends, knowing they can remain in the community they call home in safe and secure housing at a cost that works within their means. The benefits of the new lodge extends beyond Spruce Grove and includes all residents in Stony Plain and Parkland County. We look forward to truly being embedded and contributing to the community and the possibilities this will bring. It is through a multi-level government partnership that this new housing is built for the benefit of the community members. Meridian Housing Foundation shall continue to do what they do best, and that is house seniors. Today is truly a celebration. Woohoo!
All right, thank you, Lorianne. That wraps up the formal part of today's announcement. We're going to start our Q&A now, and we'll start with questions on the floor. If you could please direct who you would like to ask your question to ensure we can give Minister Boissonnault the ability to answer as well. So we'll start here at the mic. If you can state your name and outlet, and we'll do one question, one follow-up.
This is for Minister Nixon. Hi, I'm short here at the mic. Kendra Slogoski with Global News out of Edmonton. You recently met with Mayor Sohi. He gave you a list, and it wasn't a wish list. It was a list of things he said the city is in desperate need to deal with the affordable housing, asking $18 million for bridge housing, 70 to 100 units. Don't see any commitment to bridge housing and that kind of supportive housing to transition people out of shelters.
So I do have a commitment to working with Mayor Sohi. Actually, quite excited to do so. I think we had a very productive meeting earlier this week. The announcement here today, and it was very difficult. We had quite a few projects that had applied for it. We wanted to make sure that we could get started in building right away. So there was a number of other service providers that had put forward applications, and I expect we'll see even more with the $1 billion over the next 3 years. And we'll be excited to continue to work with the mayor, with other layers of government to make sure that we can build a variety of types of housing within Edmonton and the Edmonton area to meet that growing need.
So where does that stand? Does the city have to apply for that funding?
Yeah, so we will have more application processes for people to be able to apply for future funding. We do have the applications that we have received, and my ministry is working overtime to work with those who haven't been successful in this first tranche to help get their projects to a point where they will be successful in the next tranche. So we are actively working with our community partners, including the municipal government, to make sure that we can address the affordable housing challenges as we go forward.
And I, sorry, just one follow-up. I know the mayor.
Doing one question, one follow-up, because we do have a hard stop of 12:05.
The mayor had submitted this list before the budget was released. So what kind of consideration was made before the budget in terms of those transition housing?
So I appreciate this announcement today is actually not a budget announcement. This was the announcement that was made before Christmas. So we are certainly taking all of the mayor's asks into consideration for the budget funding that's going to be available in the future tranches. Yeah.
Do we have any more questions on the floor before moving to the phones? Go ahead.
I've got one for Lorianne. Rudy Howells, Spruce Grove Examiner. I'm just curious if there's a timeline for construction on the Seniors Lodge in Spruce Grove at this point.
So right now we do have an RFP out for architectural prime consultant for design services. So once we get that, we will have that board discussion, and I'm sure we will be moving forward.
Thank you.
Did you have a follow-up?
No, that's it.
Okay. Operator, can you put through our first caller, please?
Thank you, Kyle Moore, Kicks FM. Hi there. My question here is for Minister Nixon. I know there's been a lot of talk here about what's been happening in the kind of the big cities, but what with this announcement here today, what are some of the more rural areas of the province getting in terms of affordable housing as part of this?
Yeah, so there are a number of projects, and actually that was part of my speech, was part of our strategy is to make sure that we're building out affordable housing, senior lodges in some of our more rural and remote communities as well, and to make sure that people can live in the community that they raised their families in, that they built their lives in. We think that's critical for our seniors and provide that dignity. So we are, I've been traveling the province, meeting with a number of different municipalities and service providers across the province, and there are a number of projects on the list, so I don't have it memorized, but we can get you those details. There are a number of projects in our more rural and remote communities as well that we will be funding as we go forward.
And did you have a follow-up, Kyle?
Yeah, I guess as a sort of a follow-up to that, certainly, living in some of the more rural areas, a little further away from the bigger centers, can sometimes provide a little extra challenges, especially in the kind of the affordable housing side of things. How important is it that these kind of communities sort of benefit from this as well?
I think it's absolutely critical. I've been meeting with folks from down in the Crow's Pass all the way up to La Crete. Was out in Cold Lake the other day meeting with folks. I know how critical it is that we are getting appropriate affordable housing in these more remote communities. And again, it's gonna help alleviate the pressure on the big cities. As I've even visited within the big cities, I'm talking to people in these senior lodges that are from more rural and remote areas that were left with no option but to end up in the big city. So I think it's a huge priority for us to make sure that seniors and as well as people with disabilities can be able to live with dignity in their home around their friends, neighbors, and families. So that's our commitment, and you're going to see a lot more of that from us.
Perfect. And seeing as there's no other callers on the line, that wraps up today's announcement.
Perfect. Thank you, everyone.